Alright, welcome to the first video in a series of videos on how to build a professional WordPress website. We're going to lead off this series by talking about how to select the correct domain name. And there are a few things you want to keep in mind when choosing a domain name for your website. The first being to keep it short and simple. So you don't want to have a URL that is, 180 characters long or something that is extremely hard to remember. And you also don't want to be using any numbers or symbols or hyphens, all of that stuff in place of letters. You really want to keep it simple. Only use letters. Use the proper English. Don't use any slang. Don't use the letter U in place of U. You really want to keep it memorable for your visitors, so that if they ever need to type it in again, it will be very easy, and they didn't have to remember that you put a 4 instead of an A, stuff like that. And you want to be very relevant to what your business is. So using keywords is a big thing. It can help a lot. Obviously, if you want to use your brand name, that is perfect as well. If you're local, maybe put in the city or the county that you are doing business in. That will help, bring in local visitors whenever they type in, say you're a restaurant in, I don't know, Alachua County. You want to put restaurant Alachua, or, the name of your restaurant Alachua, something like that. That way, whenever someone searches, restaurants in Alachua, it will really help your restaurant to pop up first. So those are a few things. Another one is to use a proper domain extension. Now, .com and .net have been around for, ever. Everybody knows them. They're extremely familiar, and for that reason, a lot of times they are already taken. So you want to find a balance between using prefixes and suffixes, maybe throwing in the in front of it, or adding the city if you're local. You want to balance that with finding a .com and .net, or if it's relevant, you can start using some of these new domain extensions. So if you have a photography website, maybe .photo isn't such a wild thing to do. They're becoming a lot more popular as it goes, but in general, .com will be the best domain extension for your website, just because it is extremely popular. It's been around forever, and most likely most people are just going to assume that your website ends in .com anyways. So those are some things to think about when creating a domain name. And I kind of, mentioned it a little bit. The perfect domain name won't always be available. And if that's the case, start trying to use prefixes, suffixes. Maybe if you have company in your domain name, shorten it to co. Things like that are acceptable. And then if those don't work, then start working into maybe a different domain extension, but make it relevant to your business. If you have a restaurant, don't have a domain extension that is .photo. So those are all some things to think about when creating a domain name. To recap, you want to keep it short and simple. You want to keep it relevant. You want to keep it memorable. No numbers, no hyphens, no symbols. If you're local, try to add in the city or county that you are doing business in, and use a proper domain extension. And if the correct or the perfect domain name for you isn't available, then start branching out and using prefixes, suffixes, different domain extensions, as long as they're relevant to your business. So that's it for the first video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.